Welcome back. In this video, we are going to briefly look at the different valuation ratios that have been used often in investment decision making. An example of a valuation ratio is the price to earnings ratio, also known as the PE ratio. It is one of the most widely cited indicator in discussing the value of stocks and relates price to earnings per share. Also, some analysts use some other market multiples like price to book value and price to cash flow in order to make some sense of the valuation of a stock. Here we have shown some common valuation ratios. The first important ratio is the price to earnings ratio, which is calculated by dividing price per share by the earnings per share. This ratio tells us how much an investor is required to pay for per dollar of earnings. So if the price to earning ratio is 10, then it would mean that for every $1 of earnings, the investor is paying $10. Because PE ratios are calculated using net income, this ratio can be sensitive to non-recurring earnings or one-time earning events. Also, net income is considered to be more susceptible to manipulation than cash flows, so it may be wise to see price to cash flow as an alternative measure, especially when earnings quality may be an issue. Also, instead of using the net income as earnings in the PE ratio, one can also use EBITDA, which is the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. EBITDA per share is calculated using earnings before interest, taxes and depreciation. It can be used to eliminate the effects of different levels of fixed asset investment across companies. This facilitates comparison between companies in the same sector but at different stages of infrastructure maturity. Then another common ratio that is used is price to sales ratio. The price to sales ratio is calculated by dividing price per share with sales per share. Now this ratio is used as a comparative price metric, especially when a company does not have positive net income, so you cannot use its earnings to calculate the PE ratio. So when you have to compare a company which has no earnings with a company which has positive earnings, you won't be able to use the price to earnings ratio. In some cases, you may still try to make sense of the valuations by looking at the price to sales ratio. Another common ratio is the price to book value. Now, price to book value ratio facilitates useful comparison of a company's stock price. This ratio is often interpreted as an indicator of market judgment about relationship between a company's required rate of return and its actual rate of return. Assuming book values reflect the fair value of assets, a price to book value of 1 is interpreted as an indicator that the company's future returns are expected to be exactly equal to returns required by the markets. A ratio greater than 1 indicates that future profitability of the company is expected to exceed the required rate of return, and a value of less than 1 would indicate that the company's future profitability are not expected to exceed the required rate of return. Now, using book value as a measure in the price to book value can be misleading, especially when you are valuing technology companies. Now, typically technology companies do not have a lot of fixed assets, which means that there is a very high chance that their book values are not truly reflective of their true worth, because their true worth lies in the human resources of their company. In such scenarios, the price to book value ratio becomes irrelevant for your analysis. Similarly, while using any of these ratios, it is very important that you use your common sense in determining whether a specific ratio is applicable in case of the company you are analyzing. With this, we have come to the end of this section on financial ratios.